So you're headed to the island. Can you tell us a little bit about what's coming up then?
We head to the island. We first see Felicity completely terrified. I just saw that clip, actually, that got released the first time I saw it. What they can do, it looks so cool. We filmed that up in the North Shores, up in North Van, up in the mountains, and it does not look like that up there, just, you know. So they did a really great job. The island, full of dangers, obviously, full of, you know, Oliver describes it as the worst place on Earth. Felicity and Diggle arrive, and they just, I think they're completely astounded and overwhelmed with the fact that Oliver has spent 5 years there and has decided to come back. And so obviously he's, you know, the reason he's decided to come back, I mean, what kind of psychological state are you in that you go back to the worst time of your life where you know, became this killer? And so we end up there, we end up finding Oliver and trying to get a lost Oliver found. Just try to put him back together.
Now you're obviously...
kind of sad. I'm sad.
You're obviously doing a lot more stunt work just in the first episode. You did a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So is that what we can expect this season, and how are you adjusting to that?
We are on episode 8, and that seems to carry on. So I can tell you that. People get confused when I say stunt work, so they're like, oh, so you're like fighting and stuff. I'm like, no, my neck just hurts a lot from falling on it.
Oh, no.
But come here, I have my dog, which is funny. She's going to steal the show, I tell you.
She wants to be on camera.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, a lot more stunt work, a lot more action, just getting in the middle of things as opposed to sitting behind a desk, which I think is more interesting, as well as, you know, she's sort of knows the lay of the game now, like knows what to expect, knows what's going to happen, knows that, you know, the vigilante just has decided not to kill people, and hopefully that's going to stick around, and yeah, just to help the team more as she can. She can do it not from behind a desk. Yeah.
And how have you adjusted to that by the stunt work? Is it something you kind of easily grasped, or is it a little scary?
I want to do them, and I like doing them, and our stunt team is just like so much fun to work with. They're amazing. And yeah, I do. I really enjoy doing it. It's just sometimes I don't know how to work it properly, and you'll fall, and I hurt an ankle and got bruises, and my neck was sore for about a week. So I'm learning that myself. Felicity is actually, you know, falling and probably injured for real. So I guess that's the better end of it.
You just said that, you know, you're learning what Felicity can do, and she's not just the girl behind the desk. And we see in the premiere she actually is kind of a centering force for Oliver. How much of that is indicative of like their relationship going forward in the season? Does he lean on her a little bit more?
I think what happens is that Felicity is just signed off on taking a more hands-on role, and Diggle and Oliver are forced to accept that. Just being a part of the team is having to accept the fact that this is dangerous, this is every day, and all of us can't be in the foundry all the time and saving people. We can't be in the Arrow Cave and saving people. There's only 3 of us. There's only 3 of them, and they have to, you know, use all their forces, use all their bodies. I mean, we don't have a team of soldiers, right? Like, we don't have, you know, we can't just send out our military and do that. So I think her getting out in the real world and, you know, being in danger and hopefully helping and not getting into too much trouble, which she does, aids the bigger picture, hopefully.
Well, speaking of the Arrow Cave, Felicity has made quite a few upgrades to everything. It's very nice and fancy. What's been your favorite new thing to work with in season 2?
My favorite thing aesthetically, when I first saw what our set deck department did, I was just great. It was actually the first time I saw it, besides rehearsal, was turning on the lights, which we've seen in the teaser. The lights get turned on, and it was just like, whoa, you know, because there's so many screens and that's all cool, but the display of the suit, being a woman, I don't know, it's on a mannequin. It's very like superhero-esque, you know, like, you know, it's just so iconic and so cool. Not that, I mean, it doesn't really make much sense, but it's super rad.
The Queen family business kind of plays a role in the beginning of the season.
Yes.
So what is Felicity doing in her day job?
She has been promoted, for lack of a better word, just because she's, you know, Oliver needs to communicate with her more, so she's more hands-on within Queen Consolidated. And Queen Consolidated doesn't get lost in second season, which I think is really cool, because it could have been, garbage, because Moira is in over her head and not there really at Queen Consolidated. So she has just become more accessible, whether she was, working in her own little office before. She's gonna... Sorry, my dog is just terrible. She's laying down. She's getting pet. I don't know why she's laying. We just get to see her in Queen Consolidated and have it as a secret identity as her being a Queen Consolidated employee.
We see her a little bit at work with Summer Glau's character. Is there a dynamic there between the two of them?
Summer Glau has not come in on Felicity's level as of employment in Queen Consolidated. Felicity is sort of hosting the fact that Isabel is there and doesn't know anything about our other lives. So having to deal with Isabel on such a surfacey front, but also being an inferior in status in Queen Consolidated is really biting tongue for her. I think it's just like, oh, you have no idea. But she can't say anything, And I think that's part of the job, the other job. But working with Summer is awesome. She's super talented and grounded, and just is really interesting to watch work.
Will Felicity continue to have interactions with Quentin Lance after the events of last season's finale?
Yes, there are a couple scenes coming up with Quentin, Mr. Paul Blackthorne. They're still on the same level. He is... How do I say this? She doesn't break character, if that makes sense. That you're all nodding. Does it make sense? Okay.
Is there time to get a sense of who Felicity is outside of Arrow's world? Are we ever going to go home with her in the beginning of the season?
No, not in the beginning of the season. I was just chatting with Andrew Kreisberg, one of our writers and execs, and I'm going to sit down with him this week, and I want to hear what's coming up for that, because I'm really interested. I've said this before, you can only create so much until it's until it's aired, and then you're like, oh, I had to erase you're not for sure.
What can you say about Felicity's relationship with Diggle?
Stronger. I think what's happening with Diggle, we did a scene the other night, which I found was sort of opening for them. They've become, this world that the three of them are in has just become such a family, because they can't talk to anybody else about it. And it's very, the scene was like a good night sort of thing, go home. And just seeing Diggle leave and saying goodbye was sort of like, just this weight and like, I'll see you tomorrow sort of thing. And it's like this expectation that we will see each other tomorrow. And that's just always really nice and friendly, and they're getting to know each other more, and they're working side by side. They're equals, and they can trust each other.
How do you feel like the mission has changed for the three characters between season 1 and season 2?
Well, we have the vigilante who, he wants to take on a different idea on how he wants to deal with these criminals or scum or lowlife. And I think what that is puts a reset button on both. It puts a reset button on the team of how we're going to start, what we're going to do tactically different, what's going to happen, and how we have to tell each other more things, because we can't have any more backpedaling, we can't have any more mistakes. So more masks and more layers and more vulnerability. And if there are more secrets, which there are, trust me, there's tons more secrets, they need to be so thought out on when they're going to be revealed, because in fear of breaking apart the trio, if that works.
Well, we see Felicity interact with some of the characters that she probably doesn't cross with, like Roy or Moira, people like that.
We'll see. I think possibly later in second season, for sure, just because there's so many characters that are going to be coming in and out through this through the second season, and so many more interactions are just bound to happen. we do get to see her interact with, you can look forward to a small interaction between Laurel, and we'll get to see more Paul Blackthorne, which is great, Quentin Lance. She gets to play more. There's definitely more chemistries, more relationships, more headbutting with different individuals, not just Oliver.
What can you tease specifically about what she'll be up to in episode 2?
Episode 2. She will not be on the island.
Good start.
She will be getting in trouble. And they're all going to be trying to rebalance what it means to be back in Starling City and what it means to have something as big as the quake and come back to it 5 months later and still see it not be functioning. It's still not working.
Is it is it hard for the team to keep, coming to and from the lair with Thea running the club upstairs?
Yes. She's literally right upstairs. There is, there's a secret, we have a secret entrance, which we don't, there's a lot of, Ophelia, I know. She's read the script. She's gonna give you a full lecture. I told her, she's whining. She's like, I can't say anything. Thea is right upstairs. Thea is doing extremely well. Her and, Roy, they're around all the time, and there's definitely tension, there's definitely an overbearing force, literally, they're right above us. But I think right now what we're doing is working, getting in and out, it's clearly working. Definitely easily could go very wrong. Very, very wrong.
Can you talk about China White coming back and the Bronze Tiger in episode 2, and there's some problems in the hospital?
Cool stuff. I don't ever get to be on set for those scenes, which I'm really, really upset about. But they have some really cool stuff coming up, lots of action. I have yet to see anything besides the script from what I've read, but it's like, man, they must be so fit. They have to be so fit for what they do. That'll be really cool, and I think the comic book fans too, if you're not, just an Arrow fan, if you like comic books as well, will be really, really appreciative of that. And it'll be, nice little treat.
Do the first 2 episodes involve any interaction with Felicity and the Black Canary?
We sort of. It's hard to explain. She's got this sort of. We have the Black Canary come in setting up trouble for Oliver, therefore trouble for Felicity. I mean, I don't want to give anything away. We do get a sense of, she doesn't really get to know the Black Canary, but she starts to like the Black Canary.
What do you think the appeal is?
Sorry?
What do you think the appeal is for her?
I think what it is a powerful woman sort of trying to do the right thing, as well as knowing for Oliver too, it's not your fault. You're not an isolated island. There's other people who have sort of been, fighting and killing, and hopefully not for a bad reason. And I think just seeing her strength and seeing her try to come back to Starling, or try to be in Starling City, is interesting, dynamically.
There was a nice moment last season where Oliver refers to Felicity as his friend,
Yeah.
which was really nice. What are Felicity's feelings towards Oliver? Is she still kind of crushing on him? And do you have some of those funny lines that get brought in, or is it becoming more just
Have any of those funny lines been released by Mr. Mark Guggenheim on Twitter? Anybody?
Maybe.
They're pretty funny. Yes, she's still super awkward and super hopeless, and just like, Felicity, come on, put on some army boots or something. Do something. But she's too. I think this is her first sort of social club, or having a family, that sort of thing, and she really doesn't want to ruin that. I think that's the fear. of... I'll help. That's the fear of doing... She doesn't want to ruin that, and we get to see her still play with Oliver and still be awkward and weird, but also, reach to him on a friend level as well and give him sort of an emotional depth and purpose to their relationship.
Would you like to see her find a fella this season?
Yes. I think that'd be nice for her. I think she won't be so... as much as we see Felicity as being grounded, as much as she can be, and honest, it's harder to see the forest through the trees, which is sort of an island reference, but not really. She's lost too, and lonely. Diggle, Oliver, and Felicity are all very lonely people without each other. And it'd be really important for them to have somebody else outside of the trio.
Well, Hot Paul's here from Orphan Black, so...
I know. I haven't met him. I have tweeted him, and I was ecstatic.
One more question.
And I love Orphan Black. This was a huge thing for me. That show was amazing. I haven't met him, but I hear he's so funny and so nice. And I know he's here, and I have a bone to pick with production. Just be, excuse me.
Well, we did see in the premiere that Felicity and Oliver's relationship has really grown and evolved. There's a new depth there. Do you feel like this season, more than last, there's more potential for them as a couple?
Yeah, I do. I just think that, we go to the island to save him. And yes, I'm here for you. We're your friends. Like, you're not alone. But it just has to be so much more than that. Because there is chemistry between them. Whether or not they stay best friends till they're in their 40s, I don't know. But there's chemistry there, and you can't ignore it. There is potential. We've all been there. That's what makes it so relatable and kind of so much fun and sort of creates so much turmoil, I think, for the audience too. So that we've all been there, and it's sort of like, well, is the next step really going to ruin it, or is it only going to make it better?
Thank you.